Hey guys, this is Ivan with One Eye Garage, and today we have a beautiful BMW N51 engine. Alright, so today we have BMW N51 engine on the stand. It came from this BMW 3 Series. A long story short, people drove it about 20 minutes in the middle of I-40. The engine got seized up. We got the car towed here, replaced the engine, and now fortunately for me, we got this engine on the stand, so we will be able to pull it apart and see what's going on inside of it. Alright, so this is N51 engine, very close to N52 model. It has a couple of different things. The biggest difference between N52 and N51 engine, N51 was made for better emission control. It has this secondary air pump. The intake manifold is slightly different, and you have this sticker at the very top that says SULEV. I believe it translates as a super ultra low emission something. This engine is N51. As you can see, we already removed a couple components. We're missing oil pan, we're missing exhaust on this side. I believe we're gonna start with the very top. We're gonna remove all the coil packs. We're gonna remove the valve cover. Then slowly and surely, we're just gonna go into the engine. Yeah? Perfect. All right, so before we start digging into the engine, I want to show you a couple of things that we already removed. In this bucket, didn't throw it away because I knew we're gonna make the video. So everything that came with the engine. If you're not familiar with BMW, this is totally normal. The amount of cables, connectors, sensors. Let me show it to you very quickly. What we got here. So yes. That's what it looks like. You have to disconnect all of that to deal with this engine. So those connectors for your injectors, this stuff is for your coil packs. You have a little bit extra here for AC compressor, for water pump. On this side, you have all the connectors that go into ECM module, all relays, all the control modules. So this is inside of your fuse box. So then that little spider looking thing sits under your intake manifold. It has everything. It has connectors for throttle body, knock sensors, crankshaft position sensor, MAF sensor, MAP sensor, all of that. This is all kind of like sits under your intake manifold. And that a long cable goes all the way back and connects into a transmission control module. There we go. If you work on BMWs, you kind of know what it is. Also, we have this, I'm not sure what would I call it. It sits on this side of the engine, part of a crankcase ventilation. So that thing connects to your secondary air pump. On N52 engine, you just have sort of a plug on top of this. On the N51, you actually have this little attachment. That thing used to be on the side of the engine, right here, like this. And this is where you have your electronic water pump. You have port in the engine, and you have your water pump. It sits outside of the engine. It's actually very convenient if you have any, water pump related issues. There is a O-ring right here. I never saw them leak, but if they do, this is gonna be a pain in the ass to remove. All right, actually there is something else here. So that engine came with a power steering pump. It was very unnecessary. It sits on this side of the engine, like, there you go, like this, yeah. Also, they never go bad. If they do, you probably done something wrong. All right, so at the very top, we have valve cover. It's made of plastic, like many German cars. That's why this always leaks oil. Engine sits kind of tilted inside of the engine bay. That's why you always have a leak on this side of the engine. You have to replace the valve cover gasket pretty regularly, quite often. If you've never done it before, it might be, a lot of work for you. If you've done it many times, it might be, a couple hours job. It requires a lot of labor anyways. First thing that I'm going to remove, my hook. You have to use it when you lift the engine. I want to show you very quickly. I did a little bit of grinding here. make sure it fits here perfectly. I think it came from an older model from like E46, didn't fit in here and I had to grind the edges. Okay, now we're gonna remove the valve cover. I'm going to start with coil packs, and this is one of those things that you probably want to save for, you know, your future BMW. So we have 6 coil packs. This one already came with a spark plug. This one, I put a number on it, and I know this one is bad. There we go. So I'm gonna save all of this. There we go. This one is going into trash. I already unscrewed this Valvetronic motor. It has 2 screws on each side and one kind of in the middle holding it. It used to be right here. Boom. This valve cover already have a PCV built into it, and if we're gonna flip it, and as you can see here, we have our ports for crankcase ventilation. We have our PCV built into valve cover at the very top. I actually never seen them go bad. I believe it does have like a membrane inside of this thing. Never seen them go bad. Very good design. All around the perimeter we have this valve cover gasket. They leak all the time. Plus you have this ones in the middle. So the rubber in the spot already start getting very tough. So I believe at some point it's probably gonna leak oil, probably very, very soon. But anyways, all of this is trash. So we have 2 camshafts. We have intake side and exhaust side. As you can see, our exhaust side have this housing on top of it, and our intake side have this Valvetronic system. That's what they called. It's spring loaded, so we're not going to pull this apart. So I want to show you something very quickly. So this is our Valvetronic motor. That shaft connects to this gear, and that gear connects to the centric shaft. And that shaft controls this whole, I'm not sure what you call it, like a gizmo, like there's a lot going on here. There's spring, there's this leveler. It controls your roller followers that lifts your intake valves. Technically, that thing controls your intake valves. It controls how much air you get into the engine, and the throttle body on this engine is useless, but it's still here in the case if this whole assembly fails. On this side, we have injectors. Again, this is one of those things that you probably like to save for a future BMW. We got this intake manifold. As like I said earlier, this slightly different from your regular N52 intake manifold. This is what they call 3-stage intake manifold. Has 11 mil nuts and bolts holding it in place. There we go. All right, so that fence assembly with all the wires and all the cables sits right right over here. There are 2 bolts holding that thing in place. You have this, I think it's called crankcase ventilation hose. It's made of plastic. Your typical BMW connectors, they break, they go bad. So you got to be very careful when you unplug this from your valve cover. As you can see, I was very professional and didn't even break it. Intake manifold gaskets. You have the throttle body. There we go. Actually, I'm going to remove it very quickly and show it to you, but it's just a regular throttle body, nothing fancy about it, okay? So I think we're just gonna put it on the side and move to something more interesting. We're gonna remove this oil filter housing. If you own BMW, you know for the fact that they leak oil because there's a gasket inside. I'm gonna show it to you very quickly. So you have 2 bolts on this side, one on top and one right here, right under your intake manifold. This one is very hard to get to. You have to use different connectors, maybe like a wobble socket, but it's doable on N52 or N51 engine. So we're gonna remove that very quickly, as I expected. So this one is a very cheap house brand filter. You can see by how it kind of got smooshed in the middle. So this is probably STP or, I don't know, maybe Fram brand. It's not Mobile One. This is not what killed this engine, but I'm just saying this is what not supposed to be here. Okay, I think we need some power tools. All right, so this is our oil filter housing. And as you can see, we leaking oil, and that's okay. Here's the gasket. Actually, this one is in a pretty good shape. Let me, yeah, it has a, I don't know if you can see, it has a pretty good profile. I've seen them flat many times, and then you have this, massive oil leak all the way down to crankshaft pulley.
Pretty solid gasket, man.
Oh yeah, it's sort of a part of the same assembly. Not really though. On this side, you have this port for coolant, and very often that thing is leaking. This is the coolant pipe that goes into our cylinder head. It sits like so. I believe there are two 10 mil bolts holding it in place. This end connects to our water pump. There is a O-ring. Used to be here, not anymore. And as you can see, part of this hose is already fallen apart. But that thing leaks very often. And then again, you have this, coolant kind of like seeping at the front of your engine. All right, now it's time to remove our timing. We will start with removing our crankshaft pulley. 12 mil bolts holding it in place. It's gotta be E12 or maybe E10. Okay, gonna grab a little, Mary is unnecessary here. I'm gonna grab this guy, give it a tap. Woo, proper shoes, safety first. All right, so you can see our front main seal, which is also a leak occasionally. Maybe it is leaking a little bit, maybe not. But anyways, we're gonna remove these plugs. Behind them, there are bolts holding this whole timing assembly in place. But we will start by removing this Venus adjusters or Venus actuators or Venus phasers. We have two bolts on each side. Then we remove the tensioner, and we remove the rest of it. All right, we're gonna start by relaxing these bolts. I believe it's 16 mil. Thank you very much. There we go. There we go. Could be a little easier. Now I'm gonna remove the tensioner. This is 27, by the way. Looking strong. Now I'm gonna remove all these plugs that hold it in place. I believe this is T45, but we'll find out in a minute. Oh, this is not T, this is LN8 or LN9. All right, we're gonna remove these plugs very quickly. Oh my goodness, hold on. I did not expect that. Very tight, very unnecessary. Okay, there we go. There we go. Another one up here. Let's see, another one here. I think that's it. All right. So I already unscrewed those. This is our Venus actuators, okay? Again, those are very expensive components. Would recommend to keep them. Each of them have oil rings that tend to leak, but it's very easy to replace it because it's right for up front of the engine. I'm gonna put this aside. We have two camshaft position sensors. I believe this is E8, maybe. There we go, yep. Pilates. Okay, I'm probably gonna pry it with something. Got this little pry bar just for this. There we go, our cam sensors. Have a little bit of a metal material here. There we go. Also have an oil ring. Good luck.
What we have?
We have another cam sensors. Oh, actually, to relax the sprocket that connects to this timing chain on the very bottom. All right, so T50? Nope. T45? Yes, sir. All right, so on the bottom, we have a T45. My bad. A little bit more power. There we go. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove this crankshaft bolt. I believe it's 22, maybe 21. Let's see. Yep. So these bolts are torqued to a very high number, like 600 Newton meters. And I've got this, half inch. It should do the job. turning the engine. Let's try again. Tensioner back into place. There we go. There we go. Power. Bad boy. All right, so I'm gonna remove E8. You can actually tell by the surface. Somebody been here recently. Somebody just replaced that valve cover gasket on this engine. I will remove this bolt. Okay. So inside of the sports, we have, I believe it's either T30 or T40 inside of it. I'm gonna try T45 first. Absolutely perfect fit. So this is T45. Okay, there we go. This guy. Oh. So this bolt came from somewhere inside of the engine. And as you can see, yeah, this is what's left of the bolt. That means the threads are still somewhere in the engines. I believe we'll be able to find what it is. So to remove this bolt, we're gonna use longer bit. So this is what, T40. So unnecessary. Timing, no. And we have one more right up there. I believe it's E10. Oh, this one was very easy actually. There we go. Yeah, also aluminum bolt, very light. There we go. I'm gonna pry this phasers or Venus actuators a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna pry this one. Come on. There we go. Now what the mistake I probably did? Huh? The mistake I probably did. Probably this one is, yeah, needs to be removed as well. There we go. Oops. I didn't break anything. There we go. All right, so ideally you need to remove it with your crankshaft pulley or a harmonic balancer. And that thing sits into the sprocket. All right, now it's showtime. So now I don't think... So here's our timing chain assembly, or all made of plastic, of course. And there's a small one with a small sprocket that drives our oil pump. But we're gonna look at it when we, All right, so these are our Venus phasers. As you can see, they have a spring inside of them. The issue that BMW owners have with this, those bolts are made of aluminum, and over time they tend to unthread themselves or just break inside of the engine. A very common problem on these cars. This one's in a pretty good shape. Now we're just gonna jump on the exhaust side and remove this exhaust cam. I believe we have a few E10s. There we go. I knew it's gonna happen. I was doing everything to avoid it, but I mean, we jumped just a little bit. Something's still holding it in place. Let's remove the cover. There we go. This is made of aluminum or magnesium, very light. Okay. Very light. So this is our camshaft. Extremely light because it's hollow inside, as you can see through it. Again, this is made of, I believe, magnesium. Very cool design. All right, so this is sort of camshaft or bed plate. You have this passages for oil. So this is where your actuator sits. You have these passages that go all the way into this, bracket, into this assembly. And this is where they connect into your Venus phaser. And this is how this variable timing happens, adjusting the oil pressure into this oil passages. Very clean, doesn't look too bad to me. Again, extremely light, extremely. On the top, we have our roller followers with, I think it's called high pressure valve actuators. If you don't change the oil in your BMW, these ports get clogged, and it takes, you know, quite some time to build the pressure in them. This is basically like a little cylinder, like the ones that we have like in a timing chain tensioner. So I don't know if you can see it actually, but yeah, so there's a oil pressure inside of it. If it gets clogged, you start getting this tapping noise in your BMW. This is where it's coming from. Beautiful design. What did I call it again? Hydraulic valve actuator. Let's make it clear one more time. Hydraulic valve actuator. I believe that's what they called. Beautiful. We did not remove the spark plugs yet, and that would be the first thing to do. But I removed them earlier, so I'll look at them and I decide we're not gonna reuse them. As you can see, this is NGK. This is original BMW NGK. As you can see, this one's a little wet. Not terrible, but could be better. Yep, they're like 12 bucks a piece. They maybe even more. Yeah, they're going straight into the trash. All right, so this is our broken bolt, and this is what it's supposed to look like. There we go. So this is a E12. We only have a head left, and the rest of it is still in the block. We already unscrew all the rest of the head bolts. So this is T50. You have 2 on each side, 2 here and 2 at the back of the engine, and the rest of it is T60. There we go. So at the very front, we have this E12, and there's actually one more broken bolt on this side. Promise I didn't do it. That wasn't me.
Okay.
All right, now it's my favorite time to remove cylinder head. Gonna use my pry bar. There are a couple of spots that we can, you know, pry just a little bit. One at the very front and the one at the very back. There we go. You can hear the gasket. We have a spot right here. Yes, ball free. Let me see how heavy it is. I think I can do it. Actually, that's a good spot. You see, like in bowling, you have 2 fingers to hold it in place. There we go. Oh. Whew.
Good?
Yes. First things first, we have our multi-layer steel head gasket. We have 2 broken bolts sticking out. Let's remove the head gasket and see. All right, so we got 2 broken bolts. Strongest man.
No. If you're looking, you know, before somebody who installed it, the mess was a threat.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it shouldn't be. And this one was easy. There we go. So we have a couple trophies. Our beautiful multi-layer head gasket.
It says B30 on it. Okay.
Great design. They never ever leak. Very good. Look how little space we got between our cylinders.
For extra cooling them. Yep.
Okay, let's put it on the side. Yeah, I don't like all of this build up in the last cylinder. Well, what I'm gonna say for the engine, without spark plugs, without head, it shouldn't be so hard for me to turn it. It does turn, but it doesn't feel right.
So it has like really good tension.
Something's biting on it, and yeah, we're gonna find what it is. All right, so we're gonna remove this tensioner. It seems to me it was recently replaced, so we might gonna reuse it in the future. This is E14. Also has aluminum bolt, of course. So we have our vacuum pump behind this cover. I'm not sure how to remove it the right way. But I don't think it's my priority at this very moment. So now I'm going to turn this engine upside down. I'm going to remove this air or vacuum line. All right, let's look at the bottom of the engine. So we have oil pump. It's driven by this chain. We already removed this, I think it was T40. Yep, it's going all the way to this vacuum pump. So we will have to remove that as well in a minute. So let's see, we have this sort of like a guide assembly holding this timing cover to the oil pump. So this is, I believe, couple E8s. This guy. Yeah, probably have to remove this cover anyways. Let's see what's the right way to do it. I'm assuming we can kind of just so I guarantee what I'm doing here is not the right way to do it, but I'm doing it anyway. So I'm just gonna grab these guys. Против лома нет приема. There we go. So yeah, this is a cover. Sits there very deeply, almost like not a half inch, like 3/8. I guess we did the right way, actually. It's got to be like a special tool to press it back in. Well, I've never removed one of those. These vacuum pumps, they never go bad, so this is very unnecessary. All right, so we got this chain that rides between vacuum pump and oil pump. We've got this sprocket that sits on top of this oil pump, and we have this chain guide assembly made in Germany. Oh no, 2010. December. This is original, yeah. Yeah, they never go bad. There is no reason for them to go bad. So this is our vacuum pump, and just like everything else, chain driven. Okay, so maybe before we remove the oil pump, we're gonna very quickly talk about oil pan that used to be here. I'm just gonna bring it back to the place and show you a couple things. All right, so I removed that oil pan before because we have to transfer it to our new engine. All right, so this is the way this pan sits in a place. The reason why this pan was removed because it has a cracked and was, leaking oil, but it leaks no matter what. Let me show you the gasket. So this is the gasket, and that's what it looks like when it's leaking oil. It might seem like it's still fine on outside, but inside this rubber turned into the plastic. It's very brittle. You can maybe even hear it, like it's making a crunchy noise. Yeah, like right here. There we go. So yeah, these things they always leak oil, and unfortunately, this is the only type of gasket you can use for these engines. But they go bad. They always leak, and you have to replace them quite often. That came from all-wheel drive model. You can easily tell by this hole in the pan itself. Let me turn it around. Here we got your oil level sensor. Also controls the quality of the oil as well. Have like 26 bolts holding it in place, and that thing leaks no matter what. Love it, love it, love it. No pressure. Very long bolts. Probably aluminum as well. A little bit of love. There we go. Fancy touch. And here's our oil pump. Now it's our fun time. We are going to remove the caps from our rods. We're going to remove this, I think it's called a bed plate. I would just call it bracket. It's a part of the block, but it has to be removed in order to remove the crankshaft and to remove our pistons. Okay. So let's start with the caps. Looks like E10 to me. I could be wrong. All right, so we're gonna start with whatever's on top. So cylinder 5 and cylinder 2. All right. I think this engine had a misfire in cylinder 6 before it died. So that's gonna be our next step. So the bearing on the cap looks just fine to me. Looks pretty good. Oops. Same story. Looks pretty good to me. There we go. Oops. All right. So the bearing doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look bad at all. Yeah, that thing just took a oil bath. Yeah, look at the scratching on the walls. Very light, by the way, very light. Let's do the same here. Same story. The bearing looks just fine. All right, let's turn the engine. Oh my! I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to turn the engine. I'm not sure. Maybe it's crankshaft bearings. Rod bearings looked fine so far, so we'll see. looking good. Few scratches, but nothing, yeah, nothing too bad. Maybe oil change. Yeah, but look at the walls again here. I didn't do it. Yeah, look at the rings. Look at this old dirty oil. The bearing looks just fine.
Same.
Still, yeah. All right. So we got cylinder 1. And cylinder 6. Oh, I think we got one. Okay, let's start with cylinder 1. Looks pretty good, look pretty clean. No problem removing this one. Yeah, needless to say, you gotta be a little bit more careful and gentle if you're planning to, reuse the engine, but we're probably not gonna be doing that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this guy, finally, we got something.
Doesn't want to go out?
No, and that's what I expected, to be honest. I have some tools. Oh yeah. So that's it. That's exactly what I thought is gonna happen. That's what we're gonna see. So this is a spun bearing, cylinder 6. Let me grab this cap very quickly. Come on, you could be a surgeon, Ivan. You could be a surgeon. So yeah, you can see that scratching on the cap itself. We can see the scratching on the cap. Now we're gonna try to. Oh, actually, that thing came out easily. So let me give a couple lovely. All right, let's look at this guy. There we go. Also missing a bearing, because bearing, oh, you can see this spot right here where the temperature was very hot. See the scratches as well? I did not do it. Let's see if we're gonna be able to disconnect this bearing. Maybe it's not that bad. It doesn't look like too bad to me yet, but oh man, maybe it is bad. Okay, so let's try to kind of wiggle it from the side first. Nothing. Maybe try this side a little bit.
It's not even moving.
I hear some sound like something is crunching. Love it. I love it, man.
No way!
Dude, look at that freaking. It's all right. There you go, baby. Now we're talking. Wow.
Yeah, baby.
Jesus Christ. Ой, блядь. Okay, so this is what we got here. We got bearings from our piston rod. As you can see, we struggled a little bit to remove them. They were spun, they were caked, they were cooked, they were, baked together. As you can see on the crankshaft itself, how much damage it's done. I'm gonna turn it a couple times so you can see all the scratches. I'm gonna do it slowly. Boom. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy our video. This is what's left of BMW N51 engine. Unfortunately, we found spun bearing in cylinder 6. Too much damage. This engine have to go to junkyard. We have to replace and put the new one into the car. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow us for more. Like this video, comment, and I'll see you next week. Peace.